the Fade 5 podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, you jackwagons. By the big noise episode, joined by the good son of Nathaniel Lundy. 'Tis indeed another Friday edition of the Fade 5 podcast. Let's not waste an ounce of time. We're hopping aboard the Honk Honk Plus Bus. Plus, winner odds are greater is the name of thy game. Lundy, what is catching your eye? Maybe on this Freaky Friday, maybe over the weekend at Plus Money. Please help me recuperate units lost in Broncos and Chargers.
Oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. Lost out on various Cortland Sutton bets.
Yeah, me too.
Cortland Sutton is also on my fantasy team, the only team that I made the playoffs. So that's really nice. Appreciate those 39 yards. That's going to go a long ways. Let's go to hockey tonight, folks. Honest to God, I'd probably fade what I'm saying here because my the gift bets over the last few days are much like my gifts when I was a child. You open the box, there's nothing there. So anyway, what I would do is take the hockey club. That would be Utah and the Minnesota Wild. They are up in the Great White North, and these are two of the bottom four teams in the NHL when it comes to gifts happening in their games. In fact, Utah dead last in terms of how often it happens for them, right around a 40% clip. Minnesota does it around 45. Both of these teams kind of locking things down early on, and then the scoring comes a little bit later. And so the fact I can snag this at a plus 120 right now at DraftKings, let's see if things start slow on the ice this evening between these two squads. And if they do, we're cashing at a nice 120 clip.
Yeah, go ahead and get a little Jodeci cranked in the background and have a little slow jam, my friend, there to help you out. Let's do something crazy, and let's go Beck style and get crazy with the cheese whiz here. Two-leg cross-sport parlay. Of course, the college football playoff begins tonight in South Bend, Indiana, in the Battle of the Hoosier State. We've already seen some waffling on the standard line. I saw it a couple of shops this morning. It's down
waffles?
to -6.5. Oh, yeah, with
Waffles?
some syrup and butter on top. Gonna be
Love me some waffles. You can tell when you're, hold on a second.
Yeah.
When you're traveling, Brad, and you're stopping off at the hotel, you got the fam with you, breakfast is included. If they've got one of those self-serve waffle irons down there in the old lobby for the breakfast, you picked a good hotel.
Yeah, or you just go next door to the Waffle House if you're down south. Anyway, on this two-leg cross-sport parlay, give me the Fighting Irish on the money line. All they got to do is win straight up. I'm going to take the spread out of the equation. Notre Dame, top 5 this season EP per play defense, or top 20 EP per play offense. Indiana's no slouch, obviously. They're top 5 of the nation EP per play offense, but outside the top 15 EP per play defense. I think that defense is going to be locked down. I don't think this is Northern Illinois part 2. I think the Fighting Irish there with a touchdown Jesus in the background will reign supreme and move on to the next round of this expanded college football playoff. So I'm going to take him there on the money line and leg numero dos. And this is where the craziness, that twist comes in. Jackson State in basketball is going against UTEP. Nobody gives two shits about this game except for this clown. I'm going to take the total down to 134.5 on that alt and hit the over on it in a game that should be zip, 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 zip. Both these teams inside the top 125 nationally in adjusted tempo, according to KenPom.com. And you look at Jackson State, they're winless this season. They are 0-10 on the year. Why? They're 360 in all of college basketball, nearly dead last in EFG defense, giving up 56.2% inside the arc, over 41% outside of it. UTEP applies a ton of pressure to the ball. They force oodles of miscues. And you look at Jackson State, they're also number 347 in the country in turnover percentage offense. A lot of sprint outs expected, a whole bunch of kisses off the glass. And on top of that, UTEP, decent offensively. They're shooting nearly 40% as a club from way downtown. So I think the over is going to cash with relative ease. That's a hope, knock on wood, on that old total. So to recap, two-leg cross-sport parlay, Fighting Irish money line on the gridiron. Jackson State UTEP over 134.5 on that old total in college basketball, plus 106. Little baby seduced by the juice there. Built at DraftKings Sportsbook. With that nonsense on the board, let's get after it on this Freaky Friday edition with another edition of the Fade 5.
Number 5.
All right, numero cinco here on the countdown. All NFL all the time. It's week 16, second round of the fantasy football playoffs. Congrats to you and yours, Gleefully Lundy, if you actually punched your ticket into round numero dos. I was in like 5 leagues this year. I lost. I made the playoffs every single one. Lost, and lost. I lost all 5 first round games. Painful. So, yeah, pour it out for me. I went and bought myself a nice bottle of tequila, try to help numb that pain. But it's been a rough year in fantasy, to say the least. So now we are entirely focused on the player props market. And one bet that I like under the prime time lights on Sunday Night Football, give me Rachaad White. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. That is indeed, I think, going to be the case. Anytime touchdown, plus 120 there at BetMGM. We know the name of the game for Dallas. They're not really wrapping up a whole bunch of running backs in the trenches this season. Number 30 and rush EPAD over the last 5 weeks. On the year, they've allowed 16 combined touchdowns, 133.9 total yards per game, 4.41 yards per carry to the running back position. Very quietly. I know everybody's like jazzed about Bucky Irving, and so am I, but Rachaad White has been a king of consistency, scoring the rock. He has crossed the chalk in 7 of his last 8 games. I know he's only number 27 among RBs and total red zone touches with 25. I realize he's only getting 47.2% of the opportunity share, but he is also number 5 in yards created per touch, and he can get it done on the ground or via the air. Baker Mayfield loves dumping it off to him when the pressure mounts near the goal line, and I think that could be the case against this Cowboys defense that you can certainly have your way with. So give me Rachaad White to find the end zone. Numero cinco on the countdown in Little D at plus 120 at BetMGM. Good sir. Better follow.
Yeah, I know everybody gets excited. You're exactly right. People are excited about Bucky Irving, but when you look at it, I think Rachaad White's there. You can bring him in, get him little dump off.
Yeah,
can you get a little dump off touchdown? Can I get a little something like that? I mean, look, apparently Gus Edwards learned how to run last night. So
yeah,
if that's the case, Rachaad White, sure, I'll take a touchdown against a team that, I mean, come on, they're already kicking back with their Tex-Mex fajitas, margarita rocks, no salt, and Dallas is done, man. They're done. Tampa's going to take it to them.
Yeah, Bing Crosby, the Drifters, any one of those versions. Play Kevin McAllister, sing in front of the mirror, but just watch out for the burn on the aftershave.
Number 4.
Numero cuatro here, the Feed 5 Countdown Week 16 NFL edition. Brian Thomas. I'm going to take that rookie sensation on the over. 70.5 receiving yards against Las Vegas at a minus 115 juice there at BetMGM. Quite honestly, I might ladder this thing. I may take it up to 75. Take it at 100 or more, maybe even 125 or more if that is being offered, whether at BetMGM or some of the other sports books that are out there. Why? You got to have money on this game, actually, to consume even a single second of it. It's Jaguars and Raiders. All they're doing is playing to lose to improve their draft position. But I will say this, Brian Thomas has been balling out, and I think it's going to be more of the same. You look at Vegas over the last 5 weeks, they're number 25 in pass EPA defense. On the season, they've only allowed the 27th most yards to the wide receiver position because everybody's running on them. But 6 WRs have gone over 70.5 yards in a game against them this year. Going to get Richardson in coverage. One of the worst DBs in the league, according to Pro Football Focus, the 10th lowest pass coverage grade in the National Football League. He's given up 17.2 yards per catch as Richardson, and Thomas is a big play machine. He has gone over this total in 4 straight games. A lot of that, of course, with Mac Jones at the controls. Number 4 in total yak this season. Number 15 in total air yards. Number 15 in route wins in total as well. A guy I can't wait to draft. Maybe round 3, round 4, my fantasy leagues next year, because that's all I'm thinking about next year. Damn you to hell, everybody who sucked at round 1. I wish I had Brian Thomas, who just went nuts last week. I think he's going to duplicate that effort and maybe have a December to remember. So numero cuatro here on the Fade 5 Countdown. Give me the over. Brian Thomas, 7.5 receiving yards in Sin City, minus 115 at BetMGM. Good, sir. Better follow.
You can have a December to remember, but if you're somebody that buys your spouse a vehicle, you're psychotic.
With the oversized bow?
Now, I will tell you this. I saw a great meme the other day that said, my Christmas plan is to rent a Lexus, put a giant bow on top of it, park it in my neighbor's driveway, and then sit on my porch with my coffee and watch what happens.
Yeah, I like that. That's a great call.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. I'm not as confident as you in terms of laddering this, but I do think that this number is comfortable. I think he gets up. I'm going to call it upper 70s, but I'm not going to keep laddering him all the way up. I'll play the standard line at the 70.5. Again, Vegas is trying to tank for Shedeur right now. They desperately want to wind up with that pick. They do not want to be number 2. They don't want to risk that. They want to be number 1, where they know exactly what they're going to do. Go grab Shedeur Sanders and call it a day. That's what Vegas wants. They are going to phone it in. And as much as Jacksonville wants to be able to sit back with one of those top picks, grab Travis Hunter, something like that, let's go ahead and give Vegas the big fat L in this one, because they are absolutely shitter. Put it in the shitter for Shedeur. I don't even know how we would do it.
Well, you know what? Hey, shitter's full.
Number 3.
Numero tres here on the Fave 5 countdown. Let's get a little Bijan and spread that on your sandwich and consume and joyfully. Bijan Robinson, 100 more rush yards. This is an alt-market prop available at BetMGM at a plus 110 juice, taking on the New York Giants. Not quite the New York miniatures here of late defending the run. They've actually been number 10 in rush EPA defense over the last 5 weeks. Remember, they held Derrick Henry mostly in check last week, prevented him from finding the end zone, held him well south of 100 yards because Lamar Jackson just went off for 5 touchdowns through the air. So that was more of a function of game script than really how good indicative that the Giants are defensively on the season, or really right now. On the year, they're giving up 4.79 yards per carry, 114.5 rush yards per game just to the running back position. And Bijan has gone ballistic here down the home stretch. Went over a hundo last week. He has done this 5 times this season. 2.98 yak per attempt. That's number 29. Not the greatest mark there, but decent. But he is top 6 in total missed tackles forced with 53. And numero uno in total yards created as well. Atlanta still has a faint pulse right now. And with Michael Penix under center, I think that pulse could be louder and louder and louder, and possibly with a little help, they could punch their postseason ticket. So give me Bijan Robinson, 100 or more rush yards. I think it's going to be at least a 20-carry game, positive game script at home on the fast track there in the ATL against the G-Men, plus 110 at BetMGM. And Lundy, better follow.
I don't mind this one. I like it because you're getting it at plus 110, but here's an early bonus time for you. Give me the over at 116.5 for his rush plus receiving.
Okay.
All right. It's only 116.5 standard juice at DK. It's sitting right around that number almost across the board. You might be able to find it down a yard or two, but at 116.5, Brad likes him for the carries. I agree. I also think they'll get it to him early in terms of out of the backfield. If that happens, you put all that stuff together, the century mark should be easily in reach if we combine the two together. I don't hate the rush one. I like the rush plus receiving better.
Hey, guess what? You want some more sweet treats this holiday season? You got to go to thegamingjuice.com, my little elves, and snack away on all the various content pieces that we have. It's 100% free. I don't charge you a single dime at the site. Ben Winsey, Nate Jacobson have all their college football playoff previews posted there right now. You want action on Notre Dame and Indiana? Go to thegamingjuice.com and read all that, or the other 3 playoff games commencing this weekend. Lundy has got his free spreadsheet picks there, rolling out some content, dropping the puck, and making some bucks, hopefully, in the NHL. Brandon Velasquez churning out some NHL content there. To boot, all of my fantasy content lives there week 16, and I've been doing it the entire season. My rankings, which I'm constantly updating, and I need to do that actually throughout the entire week, and get all my picks as well. My spreadsheet lives there and only there. So go to thegamingjuice.com, you jackals. Click, converse, and cash. Maybe.
Number 2.
Numero dos here on the Fave 5 countdown, and I just noticed this line is ticked down ever so slightly in most of the books, but I grabbed it at 262.5. I'd still play the under at the current number at 260.5 on Jared Goff pass yards. Yeah, I'm going to live in a land down under coming off that 400-plus yard explosion that he had in a game that is still scoring points against the Buffalo Bills there in Detroit last week. He's in the Windy City. He's playing outdoors, and it's going to be chilly there at Soldier Field. If you're a Bears fan and you're going, let me ask you a question. Why? Just why? That's all I'm asking. It's sensible. It's a realistic question. The Bears are rubbish. Maybe you're going to go, you're going to get loaded, get sauce because it's going to keep you warm, and you pray for an L because you don't want the Bears to ruin their draft position and a team, too, that hopefully is not going to ruin a coaching hire. Maybe the OC of Detroit just walks across the field, puts on the Bears jacket and says, take me. I'll be there right now. But I got to, go back to the other side because I got to make sure my guys can make a deep playoff run. But I'm yours. Ben Johnson, just go ahead and come on down, please. Make that happen, Chicago. Anyway, Goff under 262.5 pass yards. Goff has done this on the over 4 of his last 5 games, done it 8 times in total this season. But back in week 13 in Detroit, only went for 221 and 2 touchdowns. I think, honestly, it's going to be around 230 to 250 in that range in the end. I know the Bears are craptastic in terms of pass defense. They're number 30 in EPA pass D over the last 5 weeks, but only 3 quarterbacks have gone over 262.5 yards against them this season. They're giving up just 232.7 pass yards per game. Sure, Goff is top 10 and 5 different completion percentage categories. He's only number 19 in total air yards. And I know mandatory Montgomery, maybe we'll see him in the postseason, but he's out with that MCL injury. I know he's going to be on the sidelines in a revenge game that he was banking on. But a heavy dose of Jahmyr Gibbs and Craig Reynolds too. And early bonus time, whatever the rush yards is on Craig Reynolds, I will take the over. I haven't seen it yet. I'm guessing it's going to be around 30.5, something like that. I would slam dunk that. I'm probably going to get 8 to 12 touches on the ground in total. So heavy 1-2 punch, Gibbs and Reynolds. I think Detroit builds up an early lead. That's insurmountable. They just eat clock rest of the game because, again, the Bears royally suck. So give me Jared Goff on the under 262.5 pass yards, minus 115 at BetMGM. Numero dos on the countdown, mi amigo. Fade or follow.
Man, I'm tired of following. Followed yesterday, and look what happened to the Broncos.
Stop cursing me. Stop it.
Look what happened.
Yeah.
Exactly
that.
That's exactly what happened. I couldn't hold that back anymore. I was going to try to mute myself, but it came on too quickly. So I'm going to fade on principle just because I'm tired of following everything you're saying.
Thank you for that, and Gesundheit.
Number 1.
Numero on the Week 16 edition of the Fave 5 Countdown. JS, and give me all the Jaxon Smith-Njigba. And I'm going to take the over on a line that's come down. Open at 64.5. I grabbed it then. I grab it again at 61.5. I'm going to ladder this sucker. I grab it at 70+. I may get a little sprinkle on 80+, 90+. Oh, why the hell not? 100+ yards. JSN should go off this week in his matchup, taking on the Minnesota Vikings, making the trip up there, the Sasquatch land in the great Northwest. So 61.5 is an absolute gift from the gambling gods. At minus 115 juice here at BetMGM. You might want to grab this now before that line appropriately cruise back up. It should be around like 74.5, quite frankly. I look at Minnesota, yes, respectable number 10 in pass EPAD over the last 5 weeks, but they have allowed the most wide receiver yards on the season. 16 wideouts, as a matter of fact, have gone over 61.5 receiving yards against them, and he's going to get a lot of Byron Murphy in coverage. Why is that important? Well, you look at JSN, 71% of his slot snaps come out of the slot, which means Murphy is going to be his main assignment in this game. Well, Murphy this season has given up the 5th most yards of any defensive back in the NFL, 623 in total, along with a 70.9% catch rate. Geno Smith, is expected to start. That's great news. And JSN on the year, 8.1 targets per game. Numero dos among all eligible wide receivers in total route wins. Number 6 in total yak. And he has gone over this prop in 7 straight games. Why is it coming down? I don't understand. Take advantage as a result. JSN over 61.5 receiving yards, minus 115 at BetMGM. Again, I would ladder this sucker up as well, which I've already done. You can check it out on the spreadsheet. Grab it at 70 more yards, plus 120 at DraftKings. And I may grab the 100 as well. So all the JSN, all the time. Give us the gifts, my man. Numero uno on the countdown. Lundy, fade or follow.
Yeah, but you and I felt the same way about Court last night.
We did, and we saw what happened. But he did finish with 39. He had a late catch. He got to 50, thank God.
So what? But Dicker the kicker in the record books, that was fun. I mean, that whole free kick thing.
That was weird.
My wife was sitting there going, what are they doing? And I go, there's an obscure rule that they can actually do a kick from here. And she goes, how's he going to kick a field goal? I said, because the Broncos effed up and gave him 15 yards. Oh, Jesus.
You're bitter, Betsy. I understand. But what better way to wash away? Are you going to fade or follow me on JSN, by the way? You follow me?
I'll follow. Sure. Let's have some fun.
All right. Great.
I'm in. You're fine. I'm good. I mean, eventually, Brad, the bitterness will go away. The bitter will leave. And I'll be fine. That day is not today. That's all. That day is not today. Although, as our good friend Andrew Siciliano pointed out, if the Dolphins, the Colts, and the Bengals all lose on Sunday, both the Chargers and the Broncos are in.
All right. So you're saying there's a chance, Lloyd Christmas.
So,
all right.
I mean, Siciliano, now, in posting that last night on social media, he had to rub it in because he was literally like walking on the beach in Santa Monica. I mean, what a jerk.
Yeah, it must be nice living in that zip code. You know, it's also nice for you to wash away the pain with some bonus time. All kinds of additional action, maybe in NFL Week 16, maybe in college football, in the college football playoff, or some of the bowl games that are out there, the NHL, the NBA, or one of my favorite betting sports, and I know you're not going to go there, but I will, and college basketball. Lundy, serve me up.
Ooh, college basketball. Actually, can I start? Are you going to talk about the Battle of Ohio? Are you going to talk about it?
I can, but I want to hear what you have to say about it.
Well, I know what I want to know about Dayton and Cincy. That's a big game.
Do you want me to handicap it for you right now? I'm happy to.
Yes. I want to know.
All right, so here's what I'm going to play. I took Dayton just plus 3.5. That's it. I'm not going to alter the line. I'm not going to.
That's what I was going to do too.
Smart move. Yeah, we're all in, which means Cincinnati by 50. All right, go ahead. Continue.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get back to. I told you the no gift this evening between the Hockey Club and the Minnesota Wild. Here are 4 games on the NHL docket. There are 7 games total tonight. Here are 4 games that I like the yes gift. You don't need to create a 4-leg parlay. You can just pair them up if you want to between the early games and the later games if you want to. I like there to be a goal in the first 10 between the Maple Leafs and the Sabres. Part of the reason for that, it's going to be Joseph Wall between the pipes for Toronto. I'm pretty sure this guy has not played in an NHL level game in like 14 months or something like that. He's been down in the AHL. Toronto's got injuries at goaltender, and so they had to call him up. I think Buffalo, despite the fact that, oh my goodness, they have not won in 11 games. It is ridiculous what's happening to Buffalo right now. I think Buffalo can get right and hopefully take advantage of a guy that hasn't seen that NHL speed in quite a while. The other yes gift that I like, let's talk about the Blues and the Panthers. St. Louis and Florida down in America's Wang. Give me yes on the gift on that one as well. Same thing in the nation's capital between the Canes and the Capitals as Carolina and Washington battle. Carolina, one of the top teams in the league in terms of gifts, 70% clip that it happens to them in their games. And finally, on the second night of a back-to-back, the Avs, the only, see the shirt? The only bright spot in Colorado sports yesterday as the Nuggets found a way to lose in Portland. Good God.
Wow.
And then the Broncos obviously shit the bed in L.A. But the Avs got it done. They beat San Jose 4-2. So I do believe we will see a goal in the first 10 in that one as well. Same thing with the Abs. They're notorious for either getting it or giving it when it comes to the goal in the first 10, 67% clip. So any of those four, the Leafs, Sabres, the Blues and the Panthers, the Canes and the Caps, as well as the Ducks and the Avalanche, any of those four, I like the yes gift in that one. I talked about the fact that this might be a chance for Buffalo to finally get off the schneid. They're at home, maybe pick up a victory after going 0-8-3 in their last 11. If that's going to happen, give me Tage Thompson to have a goal. Plus 180 is what you can snag that at right now at DraftKings. He's got 5 goals in the month of December, but he has yet to tally one in the last 3 games. That includes a contest against Toronto where he had an assist, but he didn't have a goal. I like Tage. He leads Buffalo with goals this season. And like I said, he's on a 3-game drought. I think he comes out of that drought this evening, and I'll take that at a plus 180. 2 plays in the Abs game tonight, by the way, against the Ducks. Give me Mikko Rantanen for an anytime goal. I can snag that one at a plus 120, but check this out. Plus 126 at Caesars for him to have a power play point. He had a sexy goal on the power play last night. One of the ones where he drops down to his knee and just goes, bam, just fires that thing. Alexander Georgiev didn't even see it coming. And I think he might do that again. The Ducks have one of the worst penalty kills in the entire NHL. And so I think he may go back-to-back nights of getting at least a point on the power play. So let's see if the Avs can get it done on the back-to-back as they take on the Anaheim Ducks. Brad, I put you on the spot. I was going to go with Dayton plus points. So that makes me very happy. I know that the Hoosiers are a nice story. Notre Dame's going to beat them, folks. And I think Notre Dame's going to win this one by at least a touchdown. So if you can still find 6.5, I would lay the points. I know Brad gave you the cross sport early on. Notre Dame's going to win the game. I'm convinced of that. But I also don't have a problem with laying the points with them. The one that I'm going back and forth on is the over-under. So you did a cross sport. What I may do is suck that point spread down on Notre Dame, then bring the point total down and play the over. I know a lot of people are on the under. I'm not following that one, but that number makes me a little bit nervous. So I'm going to back it down and play the over from there. And then what else did I have? Please hold while your call is being transferred. Oh, I hate this guy from a fantasy perspective. When Brad and I used to do the fantasy football hour, I used to just rail on how much I hate this guy. But guess who's finding a way to catch the ball at just the right time of the season? Amari Cooper. Take the over on his receiving yards this weekend as they take on New England. I think he gets up. I think the number's sitting right around 35, right in that range. I think that's too low. I think Cooper can get the job done. Other than that, folks, I am going to be across the pond for a couple of weeks, and so you'll be stuck with that guy right there. To be able to keep you entertained here on the program over the next couple of weeks. I will be updating the spreadsheet. Just understand I'm going to be doing it on an 8-hour time difference. So I might be a little bit slow. I had people bitching at me on the socials, Brad, that I hadn't updated the spreadsheet. Y'all, it's the holidays. Chill the F out. All right?
Yeah.
I yield the floor to the fine gentleman from Illinois.
Yeah, does he charge you a single penny? No, he doesn't. Step down, you jackwagons. I will say that. Definitely until I'm blue in the face. And right now I'm very blue in the face because it was a cold walk here in downstate Illinois. A little snow on the ground, temps in the 20s. No bueno. Take me with you, Lundy, across the pond.
It's going to be 63 here in Denver today.
Yeah, I'm extremely jealous and envious, and maybe you are of this play. Team Huevos parlay play of Week 16 of the NFL. Little 2-leg action. We're going to keep it short and sweet. Joe Burrow, 2 more passing touchdowns, and Mr. Enigma, Aaron Rodgers, 2 more passing touchdowns. He built that at DraftKings plus 183. Yeah, roll the shoulders and get seduced by that juice. Burrow has thrown 2 passing touchdowns, 11 of 14 games this season. And he did so earlier this year against the Cleveland Browns, who is facing this week. Had a pair of touchdowns in that one. He is number 1 in total red zone pass attempts. Number 13, decent, and red zone completion percentage. Cleveland the last 5 weeks, number 20 in pass EPAD. 8 quarterbacks, including Burrow, have thrown for a pair of scores against them as they've given up 7.5 in terms of pass yards per attempt. Leg numero dos, the 40-something. Aaron Rodgers, 2 or more passing touchdowns. He has done this in 9 of 14 games this season. Number 5 in total red zone tosses, though only number 20 in red zone completion percentage. But even he admits he's a hell of a lot healthier now than he was at the beginning of the year, feeling springy and spry at his elderly age. You look at the Rams, number 24 in pass EPAD over the last 5 weeks. 7 quarterbacks have thrown a couple of airstrikes against them this season. They're giving up even more in terms of YPA than Cleveland at 7.7. So to recap, the Team Huevos parlay play this NFL Week 16, Joe Burrow, 2 more passing touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers, 2 more passing touchdowns, plus 183 there at DraftKings Sportsbook. Meanwhile, elsewhere, and bonus time. Again, I'm on Dayton as well. Plus the 3.5 against Cincinnati. Really good team are the Dayton Flyers, as exceptional offensive team, number 31 in EFG offense. Now, Cincinnati is number 6 in the country in EFG defense, but it's all about sharing the sugar. Dayton is a team that is way up there in assisted field goals made. They find a soft spots where they're running zone or man. They get that cut and, simple baskets around the 10, and a team too that gets after on the glass, really good from outside, shooting 36.5%. I think they're going to keep it close. I think it's going to be 1 possession game on the road. So I'm going to go with the Flyers plus the 3.5. Anthony Grant's bunch should be a tournament team this year. Elsewhere, bonus time. Back to the NFL. 2 more plays for me. Drake May is in Buffalo. The over-under on pass yards only 200.5. At BetMGM at a minus 115. I'm way over that. I think it's going to be 220 north in that game. I think New England's already down like 24-0 as soon as they step off the bus. He has gone over 200.5 yards in 7 of 9 starts this season, averaging a hefty 28 pass attempts per game. Yeah, he's only number 26 in air yards per attempt, but he's top 15 in 4 different completion percentage categories. And look at the Bills, number 28 in pass EPAD the last 5 weeks. They gotten picked apart. See Jared Goff last week. They've given up the 8th most yards of any team through the air this season. 243.1, and they've allowed at least a pass to go for 201 in 8 of their last 9 games. That line is way too low. Love May on the over 200.5 pass yards. And then Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers got to throw for a pair of touchdowns. Why not? To the Taco Bell salesman. I mean, he's got a T-Bell in his house. How dope is that? I would never leave. I'll say that right now. Plus 130 for him to find the end zone. He has scored a tutty in 3 straight games, number 8 in red zone in terms of targets, 9.6 targets per game. Look at the Rams, again, number 24 in pass EPAD. They've given up 17 wide receiver touchdowns. Got to get a lot of Quentin Lake and slot coverage, although he will see some action on the outside too. It's on near 50-50 split with him in terms of the snaps out of the slot and working outside. But Lake has given up the 5th most yards and over 100 passer rate in his assignments out of the slot this season. So when he does line up inside, I think Rodgers going to find it for a quick hit inside the red zone. They're going to connect yet again for another score. That guy, you want to talk about December to remember, Devontae Adams is certainly having it. He is single-handedly carrying a lot of people in fantasy land to a possible title. All right, I am out of breath, and we're out of time here on the Fave 5 podcast. Do us a favor, drop us a rating and a review at your convenience. Also, pay to follow us on the X. Lundy always giving it to you at Nate Lundy. I'm doing the same at Noisy Huevos. So go to thegameandjuice.com right now, you jackals, and sign up for a free account. And until next time, as always, fade or follow. That is up to you. Lundy, have fun in Europe.